Hi, I'm Dr. Jason J. Campbell, and I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. In this video, I'm continuing the discussion into the strategic approach for the ideological war between democracy and tyranny. Specifically, I'll be discussing section 4.4. With that, let's begin. So this is National and Homeland Security, and this is section 4.4. Okay, as I was doing in the last set of videos, I wanted to make an account of national and homeland security affairs, but specifically the ideological. Remember, I said that it's part brains, part brawn. With respect to the ideological battle, the brains part of the battle, I actually did quite a bit of research during my dissertation on what's known as an exclusionary ideology. Right. An exclusionary ideology. And the idea behind exclusionary ideology, I'm explaining and applying how that concept of exclusionary ideology not only pertains to genocide, which is typically framed, but also to terrorism. And specifically, I'm on page 30, bottom of page 30, number 3, and I'm talking about exclusionary ideologies and what's known as homogeneous societies. So let's continue the analysis there. So section 4.4, exclusionary ideologies are implemented to enforce homogeneous societies. We'll abbreviate this EI. Okay, so exclusionary ideologies are implemented to enforce homogeneous societies. Oops, homogeneous. And the question is, well, what does homogeneous societies mean, right? What does it say? What does it mean to say a society is homogeneous? Anytime you're talking about society and the construct, the biological, physiological construct of a society, we recognize that the way that we go around about assessing the society is through demography. And basically, demography are all the physical, cultural, linguistic, gender-based, statistical analysis, the census. The census of the society, right? So we have census takers come in, they assess all of the people that live in the society, and they make assessments on the amount of people that live in the society. X number of people are men, X number of people are between ages, 15 through 75, X number of people are this race, etc., 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 right? All of this constitutes the demography. What we recognize is demographies are always going to be diverse, right? Demographies, social demography is a diverse thing. You'll have a mix of men and women. You'll have a mix of age groups. You'll have a mix of religious beliefs and religious practitioners, religious faiths. You'll have a mix of political affiliation. You have a mix of race. I don't believe in the concept of race, but you have a mix of different races and so on, right? So that anytime we're talking about the demography of a society, the demography of society is always naturally heterogeneous, right? So demography is always naturally an ATU. Right? Hetero as opposed to homo, right? Heterogeneous, a mix, a variety, a diversity. Homo, the same, right? So society is naturally heterogeneous, right? We find the social demography of various populations as being naturally a heterogeneous mix of people. What ends up happening, however, is both in the case of genocide and in the case of terrorism, that there are people who are in power, right? So this would be the tyrant. T-Y-R-A-N-N-T. That's what, yeah. So there'll be a mix of, let me just make sure, I'm getting this right. My spelling is always off. T-Y-R-A-N, yeah, alright. So the tyrant might target members of the population, right? So the tyrant targets a particular member of the population, and let's assume that the tyrant looks like that. So because we look the same, right, because a member of the population and the tyrant bear the same look, really, the same religious beliefs, the same social practices, the same whatever, right? Because there's a shared similarity between individuals, some individuals, and the tyrant, then those people are sort of safe, right? These people have not and will not be targeted for extermination, right? These people will not be targeted for, and I probably should write this in another color. However, you can see that some people will be targeted for extermination, right? Those people who look different, right? This person and this person, the tyrant, those in control, and the group of people who have been targeted for extermination, this group is classified as the targeted group, or targeted population. Right? The targeted population, or targeted group, the tyrant is going to target these individuals because of the difference, because of their diversity, right? So what you have to recognize, the first thing, is that when we're talking about tyrannical ideology, when we're talking about an ideology of terrorism, the ideology of terrorism is not going to support the diversity of social demography, right? That's a mouthful, but this ideology cannot and will not support a heterogeneous social right? This tyrannical ideology, the ideology of terror, will not and cannot, like genocide, support heterogeneous social demography. In a social demography that's heterogeneous, in a population where there are people who practice different religious beliefs, who espouse different truths, who do not look like me, who come from different places, and so on, a tyrant is not going to want those people, and what the tyrant's going to attempt to do, is to do one of two things, right? Either purge those people from the populations, these are the confines, this is the border, right, this is the border. What the tyrant's going to try and do is to purge those people from within the confines of the border, so that all that are left up are people who look like him, think like him, speak like him, act like him, have the same religious beliefs and practices as he does, right? And then what he's done in purging this person, or in killing this person, he has created and transformed this heterogeneous population, a population of difference, into a population of the same. So the whole goal, then, if you will, the goal for any tyrant, the goal for any terrorist organization, is to go from a population where we have heterogeneous, H-E-T-E-R-O, to homogeneous. Right? What the goal is for any terrorist organization is to go from a heterogeneous state of affairs, social demography, to a homogeneous social demography. Now this is problematic when you're talking about genocide, because with respect to genocide, the state borders sort of limit, typically, with the exclusion of maybe one or two incidents, limit the totality of the genocide. Adolf Hitler, went beyond his borders and killed people outside of his own borders. So, I mean, Hitler was a unique psychopath, right? Terrorist organizations actually want to implement this homogeneous society and social demography, not just on a national or nation-state level. They are looking to implement this on a global level, right? A global, and I'm not, I'm not a good artist at all, right?